Throughout history, the dynamics between men and women have been complex and often contentious. The question arises, have women, in some way, manipulated men to dance to their tunes? While this notion might evoke images of cunning seductresses or manipulative figures, it is essential to approach this topic with nuance and understanding. Historically, the roles of women have been shaped by the societal structures of their times. In many cultures, women were relegated to the background, their influence often overlooked or minimized. Yet, in the shadows of history, women have wielded power in subtle and indirect ways. This raises the question, can influence be considered a form of power? If so, how have women utilized this influence throughout history? Consider the figure of Cleopatra, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt. Her relationships with powerful Roman leaders like Julius Caesar and Mark Antony have often been romanticized, yet they reveal a strategic mind using her allure and intellect to navigate a world dominated by men. Cleopatra understood that her beauty was one of many tools at her disposal, but it was her political acumen that truly allowed her to play a significant role in the power struggles of her time. In another instance, the story of Empress Catherine the Great of Russia illustrates how a woman can ascend to power through both strategic alliances and personal relationships. Catherine was not merely a figurehead. She enacted reforms and expanded her empire, solidifying her legacy as one of Russia's most effective rulers. Her reign challenges the perception that women are merely passive players in the game of power. Rather, she exemplified how a woman could wield influence through both her personal and political choices. The idea of women using emotional intelligence and social skills to guide the actions of men is not a new concept. Sociologists and psychologists have explored the intricacies of gender dynamics, suggesting that women often excel in areas that require empathy and relationship building. This capability can translate into influence over decisions and actions, often without overt displays of power. However, it is crucial to recognize that this influence does not equate to manipulation. While some women may have historically employed subtle tactics to achieve their goals, it is essential to consider their context. Women have often had limited access to formal power structures, compelling them to navigate their environments differently. This raises an intriguing question. What does it mean to have power in a society that restricts it? In modern contexts, the dynamics between men and women continue to evolve. Women today have greater access to education and leadership positions, yet societal expectations often persist. There are still stereotypes that portray women as emotional and manipulative, while men are seen as rational decision-makers. These stereotypes can perpetuate misunderstandings about the ways women exert influence. For instance, the concept of the strong woman is often framed negatively, as if assertiveness in women is somehow unnatural. This perception can lead to a backlash against women who display leadership qualities, reinforcing the idea that women must conform to traditional roles. The question then arises, how do these societal expectations shape women's abilities to influence those around them? In many cases, women have formed support networks that empower not only themselves, but also the men in their lives. These relationships often challenge the narrative that women solely manipulate men for personal gain. Instead, they illustrate a more collaborative approach to influence, where both parties benefit. This perspective opens up dialogue about the complexities of power dynamics in relationships. Furthermore, consider the role of women in social movements and political activism. Women have historically been at the forefront of significant societal changes, from the suffragettes fighting for voting rights to modern-day activists advocating for equality and justice. These women have mobilized communities, inspired change, and challenged the status quo. Their influence extends far beyond personal relationships. It shapes societal norms and structures. Yet, it is vital to acknowledge the diversity of women's experiences. The tactics and strategies employed by women to navigate power dynamics can vary widely based on their backgrounds, cultures, and personal experiences. Not all women resort to manipulation, nor do all men succumb to it. The interplay of gender, power, and influence is intricate and cannot be reduced to simple binaries. As we reflect on the question of whether women have historically manipulated men, we must also consider how these narratives shape our perceptions today. Do we view women's influence as a form of empowerment or manipulation? How do we reconcile the complex realities of gender dynamics with the stereotypes that persist in society? Engaging with these questions invites a broader discussion about gender equity, respect, and understanding in relationships. It encourages both women and men to examine their roles and the expectations placed upon them. So, what are your thoughts on this topic? Do you believe that women have historically manipulated men, or do you see a more collaborative dynamic at play? Have you experienced similar dynamics in your own life? We invite you to share your perspectives in the comments below. Women and men alike, your insights can contribute to a richer dialogue on how we understand power, influence, and relationships. As we continue to unpack these complexities, it becomes clear that the conversation around gender dynamics is far from black and white. The interplay of influence is nuanced, shaped by historical context, societal expectations, and individual experiences. Join us as we explore these dimensions further. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Silk Masks, for more engaging discussions that challenge perceptions and inspire dialogue. Your voice matters in this ongoing conversation about the roles we play in shaping our world.